Hi everyone. Not sure how much talking I'm gonna do on this one because I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So basically, I lightened up the shadow color that I had already had mixed from the other nights of painting this, and I made it maybe a tiny bit gray, but maybe not, because I just want to sort of smooth things down, make them more tonal, get a little more paint on the canvas. This is going to be closer to final sky territory, and I'm just using two flat brushes from Richeson Grey Matters brushes and my big fluffy Manet brush, size 22, one of my favorites. So I have on my kind of highlight brush, I have kind of a warm orange mix. It's really pretty orange because as I mix it with the blue, it dulls down, and I don't want it to just be a lighter version of the blue. I want it to retain the warmth of the orange. So that's why I have a decent amount of color in this highlight color that I'm putting down, even though it probably doesn't really look like it. And I'm also going into sort of a transitional pink purple like that, just to give a little separation between that sort of light, bright orange or orangish color and the blue. But I'm not using that every time I use the highlight color, just periodically. So I'm just blending away, just letting the shapes kind of be what they are. And like so. Going with the soft brush pretty soon. I want to maintain a lot of the variation that I have in the top, but give it a little bit more of a sideways movement. And this shape might be a little bit big. Maybe I'll break it up. Maybe I won't. We'll see. I don't want it to get like too figure eight either, so blah blah blah. This is why I wasn't really going to talk too much, because so much of this is just figuring it out in the moment. I don't know how interesting that is to hear about. Yeah, I'm just trying to create a little movement and some smooth transitions. I'll blend this into the shadow color a little bit. And I'm just trying to use the places that I'd already left the light spots. This is I'm also loosening up the paint tonight with medium and a little bit of terp. That's a little bit stiff because I want things to kind of move around at this point and be a little smoother, get a little smoother coverage, because I've already done a lot of the work of thick coverage on the other nights, if that makes any sense. Maybe not. And I don't like these swishy shapes, but I'll see what I can do with them. It's the nice thing about clouds. It's like, it doesn't matter. No one knows. I remember in art history class, I think it was a Northern Italian art history class in college, professor saying that he was showing us some painting. I don't remember what it was. It could have been any of them. And the professor saying, historians love paintings like this because they know what kind of clouds are in the sky, and it gives them some sense of, I don't know, climate or something. And no one would be able to do that with my clouds. As I think more often than not, they would not and could not be found in nature. But I'd really rather do it this way, and no one has any idea. Just building in some highlights. This is maybe a little lighter than I planned on having this corner, but I might leave it. Got a little shadow in there. Just blending it in, bringing the dark back in. plan really. I don't really love that all the things I'm putting in are kind of the same size. That's something that happens to me a lot, and I try to think about and work against. And a lot of times, like, I'll do a pass on something like this and just go back into it later and just break things up, because I just, without really meaning to or wanting to, just end up repeating the same shape. And it's just seems more likely, even in my invented sky, that there would be more variation. Or at least that's what I want, so. But it's going all right. Just covering up a little bit of the earlier shadow color, which is a little bit darker, a little bit rougher. And the great thing about oil paint is the transparency just allows everything that's underneath to breathe through, even if you're not directly seeing it anymore. And that's why I really prefer oil to anything else, because you can build it up this way. And I end up putting so many things on the painting that end up being covered up, but it's important to me that it's there, partly because it influences the color above it, but also I just think all of those things sort of read into the energy of the painting. Not to be mystical about it, because I am really not. So I'm dipping actually the shadow brush into that purple. Also trying not to sneeze, I don't mind telling you. Just messing around. I'm gonna let this fade out a little bit. There's actually gonna be a giant tree over here. A lot of this is gonna be hidden. But sort of the way I was just saying before, I don't really, even knowing that, I don't want to not have a sky behind it. First of all, some of it will pop through the leaves in certain places. But also, I mean, I just don't work piecemeal like that. I like to kind of pretend that I don't know there's going to be a tree there. I actually might, depending on what I do tonight, I might just hammer out the shape of that tree so it can dry. I won't be in my studio tomorrow, and so part of this is like thinking ahead, like what do I want to be here and dry on Thursday. Yeah, so it's just, you know, strategizing in that way. Building shapes. I don't like the way this line went, so I'm gonna, I don't know, break it up, I guess. Better. I think I'm actually gonna switch brushes for the light color to a smaller rounded brush, also a Grey Matters brush, just to, because I think that's some of why my shapes are getting kind of the same. And this, I'm not keeping the paint as loose on this brush. I just kind of want to go in and let these shapes maybe be a little bit brighter and a little more emphatic. I've been hoping this would be the last night on the sky, but now I'm like, oh, okay, maybe not. I kind of like that a little bit. That's brighter. I might kind of connect some of these shapes a little bit. It's one thing about inventing. You have to kind of figure out, I mean, you can do anything, but certain things are going to work better than others, and you sort of have to be on the lookout for invented problems as well as the solutions you're inventing. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean. That's okay. That's really not the kind of cloud I planned on making, but you know what? Might stick with it. I might not. That's the other thing that happens to me with skies is I end up just repainting them 3 times, not because there was really a problem with the first 2, but I just like, you just start messing around and things change. I don't like that though. I mean, this will work if I can sort of like smooth this out a little bit. I want to stretch it out a little. I want it less like cotton ball, a little more stretchy, so it relates more to the bottom. The other thing I do with clouds a lot is like I get into doing stuff like this and I look at it later and I'm like, that's way too fussy or ridiculous, or I mean that's the kind of thing that happens to me more with clouds than anything else, because it's so, first of all, they're really fun to paint, and second of all, like I said before, who's to say? I mean, who's to say with trees either, but for some reason I don't go quite as wild with those. Okay, I'll do a little bit more. I feel like this is going to be way too long and boring to watch. I'll just give a little bright spot up here and then we can end there. Alright, I think that is a taste of what the next steps are for this painting. It's going to be a lot of details like that. Okay. I'll probably post again on Thursday or something like that. Thanks for watching.